I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you are probably alone, lonely, depressed, maybe all the three things, and I know how it feels. For the past almost 4 years, I've been struggling a lot with my mental health. I've been close to suicide. I've been to therapy. I've been alone. I've been alone for a long time, and it is something that has taken a big toll on my mental health. And yet, here I still am. But it hasn't come without challenges or persevering through hardship and all these difficult things that we go through as people with emotions. When I turned 16 back in 2020, right before COVID, my grandfather died, and he died on my birthday. And that moment catapulted a big change in my emotions and how I worked afterwards from that moment on. He was the first person in my life that died who I was really close with, and it didn't help that in school I was getting bullied a lot. People made fun of me, I was alone, and I didn't really hang out with as much people as I really wanted to. And it took a toll on me. I remember vividly one night I was this close to jumping, and the only reason why I didn't do it was because two people walked by, and it kind of scared me into not doing it, so I just walked home. But that's like where all my troubles began. And then years later, I was done with public school, and I went to a boarding school, and I met a lot of great people there. But then COVID hit again, and we were sent home, and I became really lonely again, because all of a sudden this big group of people that I was with all the time, all of a sudden we were all just home, nobody were together, and I lost 3 months that I really needed to develop myself mentally and socially. And it did help. I was getting better, and if it wasn't for going to that school, I doubt I would be the person that I am today. And I think if I didn't, I would be worse off. I really think I would. But after that, I had to move back home, and most of the people that I got really close with, they all lived far away from where I lived, across country really. Like I'm from Denmark, and I live close to Copenhagen, while all the people that I was really close with, they all lived in the part connected to Germany, and it was far away. I had school, I had a job, I had all these things, and I didn't have time to see them because they were far away. I didn't have the money to go and see them all the time. I did do it quite a fair lot, and I still do to this day, but it just didn't. It was a hard time. It was hard to adjust to this whole new back to reality kind of lifestyle. All of a sudden, I'm not in the school anymore with all my friends 24/7, and then I'm back in like this big isolation that I put myself in before I went there. I think my main problem is that I'm scared of rejection. I'm scared of being alone, and that's just the reality of my life. And it has been for 4 years now. I've tried a lot of things to really connect myself with people, and it's still hard. Yeah, it still really is hard, especially when I went to high school. High school for me was probably the worst period of my life. I didn't really connect with any of the people in my class. There's a few people that I really liked, but even those people I don't talk regularly with. I might see them when I go into town here and there, and rarely we text, but I didn't really get any deep connections. And every day when I went to high school was just the same. I went to school, I was silent most of the time. Everybody else connected really well, sorta, but they connected better without me, really, if I have to say it like that. And I just didn't fit in, because the class, so many people knew each other and they all connected well, and I was just silent. I'm really introverted. I really am, and putting myself in front of a camera it's definitely hard. It's not easy for me to just sit here and talk, especially about like subjects about loneliness. But I try. But that was a hard period, a really hard period. I would go to school, just be silent, get the day over with, and I would go home and just sleep and stay in my room all the time. And that took such a bad toll on my mental health. I was in such a bad state that it affected my grades and I needed to drop out of school. I was supposed to be there for 2 years, but I ended up dropping out after the first year because my grades weren't good. And I realized that my mental health definitely had a big part of it because I couldn't really stay happy or focused or just really do what I was supposed to do in school. I would never do my homework. I would always just listen to what everybody else was doing, and I just couldn't do it. Like, I really couldn't do it. As much as I tried, I really just couldn't do it. So I dropped out of school and I tried to find myself in a new way. And the way I did that was I decided to take gap years because school for me just wasn't it. And I haven't been to school since. Like, I haven't. Now it's 2025 and I haven't been to school since the summer of 2022 in like August, I think it was. So for the past 3 years I've just been trying to find myself. Like, how am I going to develop mentally and how am I going to develop socially? And the way I've done so is to try and put myself in areas where I find people who are like-minded. I started working when I was done in a kitchen, and while those people aren't really my age, that part was definitely a big development stage for me because I was able to meet all these new people who were further in life. I was able to meet these real grown-ups, if you want to say it like that. But I started seeing all these people and how their life turned out, and I heard all their stories, and they took me in and really morphed me into like who I am today. Because without a doubt, if I didn't have that job and if I didn't have that job with those people, I doubt I could be the person I am today. Because that job gave me more confidence, it gave me structure, and it just gave me a new way to look at life, because all I've been thinking about was just school. But this was my first full-time job, and now all of a sudden I have responsibilities that actually matter. I mean, of course it matters in school as well, but when you're on the job market, it's just different. So I started doing that, and after 7 months I find something new called a højskole, which directly translates into a high school. It's not a high school, but it's basically a school for like adults, like a boarding school. Again, the whole boarding school thing. And I would kind of just try to like force myself with people. So I did that. I saved up the money and I paid for 4 months to go to that school. It was great. That also was really good for me because it forced me to stay with people and just be myself in a whole other way, because now we're all adults. So we have more freedom to do things. We know more, we know how to handle things. We do things differently from when we were kids, obviously, because we're adults. Kids are stupid, and we're still stupid, don't get me wrong, we are stupid adults. I still do stupid stuff here and there, but I'm mature now, I know how to handle things better, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna do this and try to really force myself to make new connections. And so I did that, sort of. I was really good friends with people there, and the thing that I really connected with a lot of good people with was football. We watched football all the time, we played football, and we became close through football. And those 4 months were really impactful for me, and there's not one thing I would change about those, except maybe putting myself out more than I guess did when I was there. Because I knew, like, thinking about it afterwards, that I could definitely have done more. I didn't do it as much as I wished I could, but I did. But unfortunately, not unfortunately, but as soon as I was done with that school, I decided to move to Portugal. I lived in Lisbon for also half a year, because that was another way for me to try and connect with people. Because I had to work there, and it was a job for young people my age or like similar ages. And I thought, why not give it a try? Because I wanted to travel and I wanted to do new things. So I did that, but I think that also came at the cost of all my højskole friends, because I wasn't home to really connect with them afterwards. And a lot of them did, and they also went back to their old life. There are still people from that time that I really care about, and I know they care about me, and I've seen them like here and there, and also met up with them a few times, and even done reunions. So it's not like they don't like me or anything like that. But I didn't connect with them afterwards, which was kind of a bummer. So while I'm still good friends with a lot of them, I don't regularly see them. And that's kind of my biggest regret. Not going to Portugal necessarily, but going to Portugal right after that period, because it separated me through multiple countries from them. But in Portugal as well, I had a great time. I met new people there from like all over the world, like Denmark, Germany, Norway, Sweden, Portugal as well, Spain. I met a lot of new people, and that was also a defining period for me, because that was the first time I moved out. And that gave me a new perspective on being on your own. This time I couldn't be lonely while my parents were here. Now I was lonely because I was on my own. And I don't think enough people talk about how truly lonely it can get when you move out for your first time, because you can be lonely and still have your family close to you. But when you move out, especially if you move out from like your main city, if you move out like 1 hour or 2 hours away, in this case I moved down to Southern Europe from Northern Europe, so that's like that would take like a day or two to go. You could do it in like less of a day if you're playing, but it wasn't as easy to see people when I felt alone and stuff. And for me, the people I met there, they're great, but I didn't feel connected with them the way I hoped that I would feel connected with them. While I lived there, they were great, but some of them still live there, some of them moved back home as well, and I didn't connect with them in the way that I wanted to connect with them. And I don't know if that's my fault, maybe to some degree it is, but that's just kind of my take on that. But afterwards, I decided to move home again to my parents, and I decided to go into full-time work again in another kitchen. And this time it wasn't as many people, it was only me and 2 other guys. And while they were really nice, they didn't feel like, they were kind of old, so it wasn't really like a friendship, it was more like a colleagueship. And so I decided I wanted to do something else. So I saw this opportunity to go to America for a summer camp, and I did that because that was a new way for me to connect. And I think that was by far the best thing I've done so far. While the people I met there were also from scattered across Europe and even America this time, because now I was in America, so obviously there's going to be Americans. I didn't connect as well with the Americans, of course there's a few of them, but majority of the people I really connected with was from here in Europe, like Scotland, England, Germany, Spain. And again, this is the whole thing with everybody's just so far away from each other. And I've never really had like a group that I can regularly see. Of course I have like a group job with them, because we all live far from each other, and we were kind of the only people there, so we were like a one big friend group. And I've seen one of them afterwards when I went to England for a period. So I mean, that's one group that has really worked for me, but it's still lonely. I feel so lonely because I've never been able to find people that I regularly see. I haven't seen any of my friends that live in the area, the city that I'm from. I haven't seen one of those people in maybe years. I see them sometimes when I go to the gym, but it's not really a connection like that, because I just see them. We don't train together, and we don't, because they have their own friends and own thing they want to do. But I haven't, there's some people, they live so close to me and I haven't seen them in 4 years. Since COVID. That's the last time I've seen like a lot of the people that I regularly used to see, because I've done so much and I've separated myself, and I've been lonely. I've been so lonely for the past 4 years. While I have found some connection with people, it hasn't been a stable connection. It's like a wobbly cable that's kind of inconsistent, but nothing's been stable. I've really tried, but I don't know what to do. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure a lot of other people might have gone through similar things, and maybe some are going through similar things. And I guess what I'm trying to say with this video is you have to put yourself out. You have to show yourself to people. You have to be there. You have to say something. You have to. Nothing's gonna change if you don't change. And I wish I knew that so much earlier. But if you really want something in your life to change, whether that be mentally, socially, or physically, or something like that, you have to change. You have to put in the effort. You can't expect everyone else to do that. And that's what I've thought for so long. Why does nobody come to me? Because again, I haven't seen a lot of people in a lot of years. Because I have, for some reason, I've built this like fear in my head that people don't want to see me, and if they say no to me, I'm gonna feel awkward, and it's weird, and I can't explain fully why I think like this, but that's just what my head starts saying to me. Like, oh, what my head always goes through all the worst things, but never through the good ones, because my brain always says, what if they say no? But it's never gone, what if they say yes? So you really have to push yourself, otherwise nothing will change for you. And that's the tough reality.